Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Good day and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney. Today with me is the Honorable Ezechiel Joseph, who has the responsibility for agriculture, fisheries, physical planning, natural resources and cooperatives. Welcome to the program, sir.
Well, good morning to you, Sydney, and thank you very much for inviting me on the program. As customary, we usually meet early in the new year for me to at least discuss with you and to educate St. Lucians, especially our stakeholders, as to the many programs we accomplished for the past year and the plans for the coming year, so moving forward. So I'm happy to be here.
Great.
And let me wish every stakeholder a prosperous, healthy 2020.
And not 2020.
Not 2020.
Chief, a lot, as far as I'm concerned, and of course you would allude to that, were accomplished for 2012 and 19. Sorry. Moving forward, there are lots of programs in the pipeline, but we can't talk about all of them today. You have your other officers, your PS, and them who would elucidate on a number of those projects. But there's some burning ones that we need to touch on. And without further ado, I'm going straight into the banana sector. I think that's the one I need, because that's hot around now. Even this morning, I mean, there were a number of calls coming from a particular talk show, and farmers want to hear answers. What I know, and of course you know, there is a project in the ministry, the Banana Improvement Project and Productivity Project. Their mandate is to increase productivity with the farmers, which they have done for the past 3 years. They've done a lot of work in that regard. So much so, productivity has increased from about 6 tons to 15 tons, in some areas 24 tons, especially in the Deglo area. So bananas are available for sale, but there's a problem. And you know the problem. The problem is marketing. So farmers have really come to the fore. So, Mr. Minister, tell us what's happening and tell the farmers, they really need to know. The mandate of the marketing entity, which is Windfresh, under the leadership of Mr. Connie, but, you know, farmers are very disappointed what's happening, and I'm sure you are very concerned. So can you tell the farmers what's happening now and what's going to happen in the future for the banana sector?
Well, whenever I come on that program, bananas seems to be the main topic for discussion. But like you rightfully said, we have challenges out there. Let me state the records clear. Whilst we as a ministry and the project is responsible for encouraging farmers to get back into production and of course to be more productive and increase productivity, and you have just articulated some of the figures that we are realizing now, where we are now, is not the responsibility, let me say, it's not a direct responsibility of the government or the project to enter into marketing arrangements. Let me make that clear.
That is clear.
And sometimes when I intervene, they slap it in my face. That's outside of my portfolio, right? But of course, we have a responsibility. Government has a responsibility, the ministry has a responsibility to make sure that our farmers are able to sell their bananas or any product. Okay, we're talking about bananas, but any product when it's in production, because we know we are dealing with a highly perishable item, and there must be a reliable market for our farmers to be able to sell, and of course to be able to continue in the operation of the farms.
Right.
But now we're speaking about bananas. The unfortunate situation is that we have this company, Windfresh, and I say unfortunate, and the reason I'm saying unfortunate, not unfortunately you have the company, the unfortunate thing that we have is that St. Lucia is the only country, right, in the Windward Islands, the only shareholder that is still in banana production for the UK market, which Windfresh is responsible for.
Right.
So I use the word unfortunate because the other stakeholders have no interest in the marketing of bananas. Their interest is the bottom line and the profitability of Windfresh. So we in St. Lucia, we have a challenge because the management would be operating policies stated by the board. And the board is made up of members of the 4 Windward Islands. So St. Lucia is just one out of the 4. Okay? We know that there is, and I'm saying this without any fear of contradiction, we know that the banana industry is still important to St. Lucia. When you look at the figures as far as bottom line, money is circulating in the rural communities. And that is why, as a government, we continue to give support to our farmers to encourage them to stay in production. But the time has come last year when we had to speak to Windfresh, and my Prime Minister had to speak to the other Prime Ministers of the Windward Islands to tell them, look, what's happening in Windfresh is not to our benefit. Okay? So much so, the Prime Minister accompanied me to a board meeting that was held in St. Lucia and to express our concerns as to what's happening in the industry and to inform the other stakeholders through their members on the board that St. Lucia needs a total review of the situation. If not, we'll have to look at options. Okay? Coming out of that situation, we call a meeting of all the stakeholders in St. Lucia. The farmers were represented through the NFTO. Windfresh was represented. The banana productivity unit was represented. The Minister of Agriculture was represented, and I attended that meeting. We formed a small committee to look at the challenges that we are faced with in St. Lucia and to come with recommendation how we can, improve the situation as far as the marketing is concerned. I want to say here today that when I went to the meeting, we were told, and like I said earlier, it's not our responsibility to enter into marketing arrangement. We were told at the meeting that the banana company and Windfresh, they are in the process of signing a contract where they will be selling weekly to Windfresh 6,500 boxes of bananas weekly. And we said that can't fly. We said that cannot fly
especially with the production,
the production levels that we have,
it's
and
very high.
It's frustrating for the farmers.
Yes, yes.
So I asked the Windfresh, the NFTO representative, what is the comfort level? Because coming out of the meeting where the Prime Minister and myself went to the board meeting, although I'm a board member, but accompanied me to the board meeting, we agreed that we must identify export figures for the next 4 months, January to April, that we are satisfied with, all right, and would not create the type of problems that we are facing with, all right. So coming out of that meeting and with that understanding, I asked the NFTO at the meeting, what is the level of comfort as far as a weekly supply for the next 4 months? And I'll explain why the next 4 months in a while. They said 15,000 boxes. Okay, they're satisfied. And I'm not the one making the decision. I asked the NFTO. They said 15,000 boxes.
Hold that point, you're going for a break.
It's so fast?
Yeah, so fast. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon. That's for segment.
The effective management of the marine resources depends heavily on compliance. To ensure that these resources continue to thrive and provide the best local seafood, fishers, vendors, and consumers must be aware of the fishery seasons. Here is the season chart for lobster. Adhere to the schedule. Help maintain a thriving fishing industry for all of us. This has been a message from the Department of Fisheries.
Welcome back to the program. Mr. Minister, before the break, you mentioned about the small committee, and there is moving forward a certain amount of, on a weekly basis, of boxes are supposed to be shipped. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, so I was saying, so coming out of that meeting, it was agreed that the Windfresh will be purchasing on a weekly basis for the next 4 months, 15,000 boxes a week, right? Granted, while the NFTU made that request and it was approved, they also said that at least in the first 2-3 weeks of January, they will not be able to supply that because of the problems they had coming out of last year's situation.
Right, exactly.
So we understand that,
Yes,
because we have to go in and flush out the fields. Those fruits that are overgrade, we have to go and remove them because we don't want to be selling 15,000 boxes, and that is the problem, and that's the concern that Windfresh has, and the quality is affected. And I make no bones about this. We need to be supplying good quality fruit because it's affecting the bottom line of the company.
Definitely.
And farmers have to understand that.
Definitely.
So right now what we see now is farmers flushing out their fields.
Correct.
Okay? So at least those farmers who are certified. And we have to come to that point also, are flushing out their fields because there's need for them to come back on stream with the volumes we have right now coming from the NFTU. When I look at, and we have been asking for weekly information. When I look at the weekly information, we're not too far from it.
Okay.
Right? Based on what I'm seeing, the purchase orders and the what is actually exported is more or less 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000 boxes less is being exported.
Okay.
The concern that we have, and I brought it up, is the pack types.
Yes.
First you have the volumes, the pack types, right? What we're realizing that whilst Windfresh has agreed to give us the volumes, the pack type they're giving us is not very encouraging. It's not very profitable to our farmers. And we are writing them now, the ministry is writing them now, to tell them that, because when we agreed for the 15,000 boxes, I made it clear to them that it'll be a 70% to a 30% ratio, which means 70% standard fruits and 30% small fruits.
Right.
Because sometimes you're giving the NFTU a higher percentage of small fruits, which the farmers cannot be produced because the farmers have to cut, if only the farmers go there and cut all the small fingers.
Is that the rebate, Mr. Minister?
You know? So we laughing about that serious matter. Serious matter. You know?
It's serious.
So they had agreed. So I'm seeing a 70-30% ratio standard to small. But the pack types is not encouraging. So you're writing them now and telling them, look, the pack types, it has to be more certified fruits. Whilst we agree the product 11, but the product 11 should not be more than 20% of the allocation.
Yes.
So that's where we are at now.
Okay.
So we are looking at it. Now I want to say that in part one because I think it's important.
Yes.
Right? L'année passée, Windfresh tenait board meeting à Saint-Lucie. Et puis, Premier ministre là, à leur board meeting là, pour dire Windfresh that nous pas satisfait qu'au gouvernement, manière yo ka bay support pour acheter fig Saint-Lucie pour la place l'Angleterre. Nous disons that c'est important pour yo ça by priority pour fig qui a sorti un pays livant, tu vois c'est only Saint-Lucie because c'est only Saint-Lucie qui a 20 fig et puis Windfresh pour pays l'Angleterre. Si les autres pays nous livrent Saint-Vincent, Dominique et puis la Grenade, pas qu'à 20 fig. So you panier l'été business pour Windfresh qu'on nous qui en fig ni l'été. So c'est nous qui en les bord là qui l'été ça. So Premier ministre là parler puis Premier ministre Saint-Vincent, il parle par Premier ministre Dominique, il parle par Premier ministre la Grenade et puis dit that si nous ne pour continuer puis Windfresh là nous pour nous différents catchil.
Différents arrangements.
Différents arrangements, les venir pour fixer ici. All right? So, for meeting ça, nous faisons un comité à joindre pour voir quel problème nous avons, qui est fig nous avons pour l'autre 4 mois, janvier pour aller à oui, parce que nous dit pour l'autre 4 mois nous investiguer et puis voir qui manière nous ça éprouver à sous affaire export fig là. Même à la meeting, nous tous ces major stakeholders là, ils NFTO, qui représentent ces farmers là, ils pour nous, ils Winfresh, ils ministre agricole et puis moi. Nous aller là, ça moi tsan, moi je me tsan qu'a fait là et puis moi veux dire les moi emmêlé aux affaires, you c'est pas affaire nous because les affaires fig et puis van fig c'est a business between NFTO et Winfresh. But nous avons dit non, actuellement nous pour emmêler ça because situation qui a affecté fig et puis nous avons projet les co-farmers doivent planter et puis expect pour vendre ça planter.
Parce que c'est ministre qui dit pour planter.
OK, so nous pour emmêler ça. Ça nous rend that il y a fait un arrangement, il y a forcé NFTO pour d'accord pour vendre tous les semaines 6500 boîtes de figues par semaine. Nous disons ça va faire. Parce que nous avons assez de production dehors là, et puis 6500 boîtes de figues par semaine, pas ça travail. Et qui a affecté la situation. Nous demandons NFTO en meeting là, combien de boîtes de figues yo kay satisfait that Winfresh ça acheté tous les semaines pour l'autre 4 mois et puis yo dit nous 15,000 boîtes tous les semaines. All right? So actuellement NFTO n'y a garantie pour l'autre 4 mois pour ça vendre 15,000 boîtes figues tous les semaines to Winfresh. C'est farmers là qui certifient.
Oui. Donc, parlez about certification, ça là.
Right? Because pour un farmer van fig pour Winfresh, pour la place l'Angleterre, farmer ça ni pour certifier. Actuellement, nous avons about 295 farmers qui certifient. But only plus farmers qui pas certified. Now, responsabilité pour certification reste à sous farmers là pour préparer pour certifier. C'est pas.
Tu me penses ça? No, not bring on code. No fast and furious. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We're back soon. Okay.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join revolution.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Welcome back. Mr. Minister, you mentioned certification. Could you explain what's the process of certification for the banana industry?
Well, I mean, and that's one of the challenges that we have. We have more farmers who has now come back into the industry and they are not certified. Because we have, based on records and information coming to me, we have about 295 farmers who are certified right now, selling to the UK market. But you have over 350 farmers who are not certified. The process for certification, and for you to sell on the UK market, that's where the market is growing every year, right? Because we cannot concentrate on the local and regional market. Well, it provides an opportunity for us to market, but our focus should be and must be on the UK market. So the responsibility for it does not lie with the Ministry of Agriculture. C'est pas responsable ministre agricole pour certifier farmers. C'est responsabilité NFTO pour certifier farmers. C'est responsabilité farmers pour préparer filio pour les certifier. Sou di moun la pani guano, la pani ba will, ou sa blambe ministre agricole. But si ou ni problem ni spot le plotation, et puis will la available, c'est pas faute ministry, c'est faute farmer qui pas acheter will là at a subsidized price pour spray.
Dis encore, ces farmer, yo pas qu'à gagner full pour ya.
No, it's certified, it's subsidized. You can gain will la half price. Right?
Et puis fertilizer too.
Fertilizer, right? So c'est yo qui ni responsabilité pour acheter l'huile là et pour spray. C'est pas responsabilité gouvernement ou responsabilité projet.
Okay.
Right? Responsabilité projet pour make sure that l'huile là et puis cycle là et puis chemical là, but c'est responsabilité farmer pour spray.
Pour aider pour certification.
To aider with certification. So the responsibility lies on the farmer. That farmer has to be serious enough to know that, look, I'm in a business, all right? Yeah. It's my responsibility to get my field up to a standard to be certified. Engage the NFTO, engage the officers that are responsible for the certification under the NFTO and get certified.
But here's the other problem. The number of farmers that are out there that are uncertified, say tomorrow they get certified, so you have a problem in your hands again, eh?
No, and that's why I'm coming to. No, we have a problem.
Okay.
Because we are making provision for these farmers.
Okay.
Because that's why we said that the production that we have agreed with Windfresh of the 15,000 boxes for the next 4 months is taking into consideration that when we have more farmers coming into...
That will be increased.
So we go review it and review it every quarter.
Okay.
So we are thinking along these lines. So the 15,000 boxes now are for farmers who are certified.
Wow.
So as we have more farmers being certified, and we sit down and review how many more farmers have been certified, that figure should go up.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And that's where we are now. So we're now reviewing it. Like I said, based on the figures that I'm seeing, there are shortfalls, but we are hoping that at least for the month of February, March, and April, we can see at least we're meeting these targets. If you're not meeting these targets, then Windfresh will tell us, well, it's either one or two option, bring more farmers in, which we intend to do, all right? Because now, because of the challenges that NFTO have with officers, we have now asked the government project to assist farmers in preparing themselves
for certification.
So we're giving that help.
Okay.
All right.
But do you know there are a number of farmers, in fact, I heard today, I've been seeing a lot of it on WhatsApp, a lot of the, fruits are just wasted. Some farmers who are into livestock are giving into the pigs and stuff like that. And there are a number of farmers who have left as a result of this problem. Do you think you can, you can woo them back into production?
Well, I mean, based on the report from the project, it has been reported that like 17 or so farmers have left.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
But what is also surprising that more farmers are coming in.
Right. Yes,
right.
Yes.
The figures, the pictures we see going around. I ask the question: are these farmers who are certified, right? Because the regional and local market cannot accommodate.
Yes, they cannot.
Those farmers who are not certified.
Yeah.
So those farmers you see are chopping is one of two things. Are they the farmers that we have agreed through the NFTO that they should chop their fruits to clean up the fields? So because now we have this guaranteed 15,000 boxes, so to make sure they have the quality fruit. Is that what's happening there now?
Right.
Or is it farmers who are not certified and cannot sell their fruits on the local or regional market?
Okay.
So these are, I mean, we see in the pictures, but you have to ask yourself the question.
Yes.
Now, if it's farmers that are certified and clean their fruits, that was agreed by the NFTO. We have to do this to clean the fields, so at least we would not find ourselves exporting to the UK market fruits of poor quality.
With the arrangement you have with Windfresh, as you rightly said, the 70-30% you spoke about, okay? If they decide not to go the other way, what's going to happen? Because in other words, if the new arrangement and the various pack type, and see if they're sticking to the pack type that they believe that they want, which is not meeting the farmers' expectation, where do we go?
Well, the government will intervene. I mean,
can I ask how?
we are going to intervene because right now the Windfresh is relying on the government of St. Lucia to support them in the many challenges that they face with.
Okay.
That's why we intervening.
Okay.
Because when things were nice, they never took us on board.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I've been making plea upon plea and nothing happening. Now they want us to help them to overcome the many challenges that they face with. And we say, now if you have to help you, that is what you have to do.
But
or else we have to look at options.
Yeah, but do they not have a mandate? They forget the mandate to market Windward Island bananas. That's a mandate.
I just explained.
Yes, I know.
I just explained that when you have one of the four shareholders,
it means you have to stand on.
When you have one of the four shareholders still in the operations and marketing and production of bananas, and the other three are not in. The management of Windfresh is being guided by the board decisions.
Yes.
You know, so if the board is saying at a meeting that, look, we are interested in bottom line and you invest in this and go into value added in this and do this and spend money in all other things that are outside of the mandate, they will do it because it's instructions coming from the board. And Mr. Lucia, we are the minority voice, whilst we're the major shareholder.
Right, yeah.
And that's something that have to change.
Yes.
Because if you're a major shareholder, we need to have more representation at the board level.
Okay. What would be a plan B if, for example, you all decide to, can the government decide to market St. Lucia bananas in a different manner, look for another marketing agency? I don't know. I'm just asking the question.
Well, you had discussion with the Prime Minister?
I'm just asking the question.
The Prime Minister believes that's the direction we have to go.
Because
I honestly, I don't believe that's the direction we have to go. Okay. We have to change the management. The other shareholders have to understand. Right? Whilst we want Windfresh to be able to sustain its expenditure and make a profit, the bottom line should not be profit.
Yes.
Right?
I agree. I completely agree.
The bottom line should not be profit.
Yeah.
And as a major shareholder, we need to understand that we believe, and in fact, the good thing about it, I can tell you, based on discussions I have with the leadership in St. Vincent, St. Vincent is now looking at the possibility
going back into bananas.
Not only going back into bananas because they're still in bananas, but to export to the UK market.
Okay.
So I've been saying to St. Vincent and the others, when St. Vincent come on board, and if they come on board, what happens?
Yes.
What happens? Wow. So we believe that there are opportunities. I mean, we have challenges. And let me say, whilst core government nuka parler about Zave Figla, farmers need responsibility also. So if c'est pas nous qui ca cultiver Figla, nous ca mettre policies et programmes en place pour encourager farmers pour cultiver Figla. But you need responsabilité pour buy sell aller, you need responsabilité pour spray aller. Une responsabilité pour faire canal aller. C'est une responsabilité ça.
Avec jeune certifié. Avec jeune certifié.
And jeune certifié. Une responsabilité ça. But of course, most have that a level of discouragement because they cannot sell. It makes no sense for them to produce and they can't sell. And that's where we believe that we have to get involved.
It's really bad. Really bad.
Yeah.
Mr. Minister, I think we have come to the end of the program. So we're going to discuss we have discussed the banana industry. I think there are so many other things I've discussed. We'll have to do a part 2. Okay. Right? So I want to thank you for being here for the discussion. And I hope farmers, you are hearing, and please listen to the information and don't let other people influence you. Once you get the right information, you can take the right decision. Speak to NFTO, speak to the BPIP, and you'll get your information. Remember, agriculture is our business. Eat fresh, St. Lucia's best. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.